we have with us once again the BMW 3 Series. Let's do a review. The BMW 3 Series has always been the go-to sedan in the German automaker's local lineup. Things have changed and most buyers now go for their crossovers. We've reviewed this before, and we have with us the refreshed version. Has a lot changed? Let's find out. What we have is the 2023 BMW 318i Sport, and it's priced at 3,790,000 Philippine pesos. Quite the increase compared to its 3.19 million peso price when we featured it back in 2021. Anyway, let's talk about what's new. First, you'll notice in front the new headlights which get L-shaped DRLs, and of course, it's all LED. We also get an updated BMW kidney grille which thankfully is still at the right size, though I do wish it was finished in black for a sportier appearance. It also opens up when you start the car. The side remains pretty much the same and is distinctly BMW with the shape of the windows and the body profile. This does get new 18-inch M Sport alloy wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4 run flat tires. The rear is also left unchanged with the same look as before. This area is personally my favorite part of this sedan, and some will say that it looks like a Honda City, but it's actually the Honda that copied this. Anyway, we do get full LED taillights here with a rear fog light on the left taillight. Also, since this is the Sport, we do get some M exterior stuff as standard, such as the more aggressive front and rear bumpers, blacked out window trim, M badges on the fenders, and again, the wheels. I also really love the Brooklyn Gray metallic exterior color on this particular unit. And once you open the power rear liftgate, it reveals around 480 liters of space, which is more than enough for daily use. And to close, simply press the button on the liftgate. Honestly, this is for lazy people, but sure, let's have that. And now we're inside the 318i Sport, and as you can see here, there are a couple of changes as well to the interior, just like the exterior, but the overall look of it is actually pretty much still the same as before. We still have the same center stack right here, except for this new display area here for the infotainment system and instrument cluster, which we'll get to in just a bit. Of course, being a BMW, we have excellent materials in here. So we have soft touch plastics on the dashboard. We have this some kind of plastic finish here, which does look good, although I'd rather have something else, but this is okay as is. Then on the door panels, we also have some soft touch plastic, some soft touch leather on the sides, faux leather by the way. Also same for the armrest, soft touch plastics, and of course here in the armrest in the middle, soft touch leather, which is also really nice. And then for the steering wheel, still the same as before, so it's a 3-spoke steering wheel, tilt and telescopic. Of course, we'd expect that at this price point and segment. So we do have lots of adjustment, as you can see over there. Really nice. We have paddle shifters, then our controls for cruise control, and our controls for audio on the right. Then for the horn, it's our typical BMW horn, which we'd expect from a European car. Sounds really big. And then going back to the screens that I mentioned earlier, we do have these new displays right here. So they're housed in this curved housing over here, which makes it angled towards the driver, just like the rest of the center stack. The instrument cluster is a 12.3-inch display, which shows us various information. Of course, it's very comprehensive. Actually, we have loads of information over here, different types of layout, even have navigation. And since this vehicle does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, that also appears here, though this particular unit does not come with it, but if you do buy one, it will come with it. Then we also have here some compass, and yeah, lots of information here, customized, very customizable as well. Then for the infotainment system, we have a 14.9-inch touchscreen infotainment system right here. So it's very comprehensive actually. And again, like I mentioned, we do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but this particular unit does not come with it. So right now we're making do with Bluetooth, but again, it does really come with it if you buy one. And just like here, what we see here is also found here. So we have navigation, our compass, and of course we have various information for the vehicle, which you can see here, like our trip computer, which also appears here. And it's actually really comprehensive here, so I honestly didn't have enough time to explore everything that we can find here. So that's a really good system over here. By the way, this uses iDrive 8, and the screen itself is very responsive. Every touch you do, it does respond really well, and it's very easy to find anything that you want to find. Actually, despite it being very comprehensive, it's very easy to navigate. And also this can be controlled by the touch panel, touchpad, and knob buttons here in the center console. So that also makes it easier for those who prefer using something like this instead of touching the screen. Then moving down here, we do have some audio controls and our defogger switches right here. So unfortunately, we no longer have our aircon controls here in the center stack. So they can now be found here in the infotainment system as well. So you can see on the left and on the right, we do have our temperature controls. Then in the middle, just press that and we have our fan speed and our different zones. So unfortunately, that's there. I'm still not a fan. I wish they maintained the original climate controls here in the center stack. Then moving down, we do have a wireless phone charger and two cup holders, USB port, and a 12-volt power outlet, which you can also hide just by closing the cover. Although I do have some stuff here right now, so I cannot close it. But yeah, that cover closes. Then going back to the center console, again, that knob and buttons for the infotainment system. We have our stability control off button, parking sensors off button, and auto start stop function. Of course, our engine start button and our different driving modes, sport, comfort, and eco pro. Then our electronic parking brake with auto hold function and our new electronic gear selector. So it's actually just a toggle right now. So to put it in drive, just pull it back to drive to D, and then to put it in sport, just pull it back again. To put it in reverse, push it all the way forward. To put in neutral, just a single pull or push depending on what gear you're on. Then for park, just press the P button. So very simple to use. And then moving back, we do have our center armrest again, which I mentioned earlier, really nice. And underneath that, we do have some storage with a USB-C port inside. And for the seats, I think these are one of the best seats that I've ever tried because they're really super comfortable. They're really supportive. Then you have loads of adjustment as well. So we have, of course, for the backrest, and then we also have adjustable bolsters, so you can control actually how much you want them to hug you. So if you're feeling a bit lonely, just make this a bit tighter so that you can have someone hug you. And we also have thigh support adjustment, so you just have to pull a toggle right here, and then it will move forward and backward depending on how much you want it to be out, so how much thigh support you want right here. And now we're at the back of the 318i Sport, and honestly, here in the Philippine market, many people will be treating this as an executive car despite this being better suited for driving. So that's why we're here right now. And in case someone does do that, just someone does treat it as an executive car, we do have loads of space back here. And actually not loads of space, but more than enough for an average Filipino. So I'm 5 feet and 7 inches, and as you can see, I do have enough leg room. This is my driving position, by the way. Then foot room is also pretty good. Headroom is also decent, not the best, but it's okay. Then as for the seats, we do have, of course, the same material as in front, the very nice faux leather. Not real leather, but it does feel very real, which is very nice. And then the seats themselves are very comfortable as well back here, and they kind of hug you in place as well, so they're slightly bolstered. So you'll be very comfortable back here. And also, this place is actually best for 2 passengers, if I may say, because we do have a huge center tunnel here for the transmission. So that's really big, so it'll be very difficult to have a larger passenger in the middle. So maybe best for children here in the middle. Then of course, here we have a center armrest finally. So if I'm not mistaken, the previous one didn't have a center armrest. Now we do have it here, and it has 2 cup holders, although the cover for that is a bit flimsy. So there, it didn't open there, so only one side open there. Now it's open, so it's very flimsy. Actually, it feels very cheap. So I think they should maybe remove this instead. I'd rather have it completely open instead of having a cover, which feels cheap. Anyway, other stuff that we have here, we of course have 2 aircon vents. We have our controls for that, so it's actually tri-zone. So we have the 2 controls in front and another one here at the back, and then our 2 USB-C ports, which is of course very nice for fast charging. Then before we drive, materials here are also pretty good still, same as in front. We'd expect that from a German luxury car. And also we do have some bottle holders on the door, which fit my water bottle really well, so that's very unusual in many cars right now. So we do have that, very nice to have. And now we're driving the BMW 3 Series, specifically again the 318i Sport. And while they did do a lot of changes in the exterior, the engine remains the same as before. So we already reviewed this again, and yeah, it feels pretty much the same. And it is really the same because we still have a 2-liter turbocharged twin power BMW twin power engine, and it produces 156 horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque compared to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And before you do say that those numbers are not great, well, honestly, they really aren't. So it's about the same level as our very popular Chinese crossovers these days. So yeah, I'm comparing the engine of this to a Chinese crossover. Yeah, they're around the same level, but of course it's bigger. And then of course BMW has done a lot to make this feel like a really good driving engine, a really good companion on the road. So First, of course, when it comes to acceleration, you can really feel how fun this thing is to push. So the moment you put your foot down, it does come to life immediately. It's very responsive. The shifts are really smooth. That 8-speed transmission is excellent, actually. Although there are times that it might feel a bit jerky, especially in low-speed traffic, but once you do get moving, it is pretty smooth overall. I'd also like to add that a few years ago, my family had one of this vehicle's rival, so that model, and it already had more horsepower at that time, which was maybe like 10 years ago. So the horsepower and torque output of this are pretty much still the standard 10 years ago, but still doesn't feel that way. So it's really quick, actually. Again, like I said, it's very responsive, and any inputs that you give, the vehicle really does respond quite well, despite being in just eco mode or comfort mode. And of course, being a BMW, you'd expect this to handle really well. So steering, of course, is very direct, it's very sharp, and of course, it's very light for these days. So that's what we'd expect already. But once you do put it on sport mode, which we'll do right now, it does tighten up a bit to give us a little bit more feedback, to feel a little bit more connected with the road. But even if we don't use that, it still feels like how a BMW should. It handles great. It's very stable. It's very planted. It's very something that you would really love to drive. So, of course, many people, again, like I said earlier, would prefer to sit at the back of a German vehicle. But if you have a BMW 3 Series, you should be behind the wheel. Also, I'd just like to add that since we do have the sport variant here, I do wish that they gave us a different steering wheel. I forgot to mention that earlier. I do wish they gave us that M steering wheel, so we still have the same standard steering wheel. It doesn't feel as sporty as it should. It doesn't feel as sporty as the car looks when you touch it, when you feel the wheel itself, but at least the feedback again is really good. When it comes to ride quality, the BMW 3 Series does feel a bit on the firmer side compared to its rivals, but I also expected that give us a little bit of that sporty feeling. But it's still really smooth. It absorbs the bumps really well. It absorbs everything, all the imperfections of the road with class, with style. But yeah, despite it being a bit firm, it doesn't crash over bumps, which I appreciate. And of course, being a German luxury car, NVH insulation is excellent. So road noise is almost non-existent. Of course, in the rougher patches of road, it will be there, but it's not a problem at all. Same goes for vibrations. Everything is very well built here. The quality here, you can really feel how much BMW has done to make this feel more expensive than it already actually is. And despite all the technologies that we get these days, many people would still think that having a luxury car or anything that's not Japanese would mean spending a lot on fuel. But of course, that is not the case with the BMW 318i. So inside the city, we're able to do around 9 kilometers per liter with a decent amount of heavy traffic. So traffic conditions were not excellent, but we're able to achieve 9 kilometers per liter, which is a respectable number inside the city. And then on the highway, it's not hard to reach 20 kilometers per liter at all. So that's also a really respectable number. Though despite all the good things about this vehicle, there are also some things that it lacks, such as driver assistance technology. So at this price, you'd expect that they already equipped this with stuff like autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, but unfortunately we don't get any of those. We only get a parking assistant, which honestly I won't even use. Then we also get that reverse parking assistant, so that one reverses the car out of your parking space the way you entered it, so it records how you entered. But yeah, I don't really use that as well. But yeah, I hope we do get adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, and the other safety stuff in the future. And yeah, overall, I just really love how this feels to drive. So right now we're in just some nice provincial road, and it's really quiet, it's really smooth. It feels very relaxed to drive. Then once we do want to have a little bit of fun, it will give that to us. The BMW 3 Series has matured a lot, but it still keeps the formula that made it so popular with different kinds of buyers. It still is very much a top choice.